Julie Roginsky with FoxNews.com. Bringing gender equality to the table. That's what now State Senator McLeod did when she served in the South Carolina House. By introducing the Viagra Bill, it was her response to all of the rules that South Carolina's male-dominated legislature places on women's rights on their own bodies. The bill included some nuggets like a patient would have to obtain a notarized affidavit in which at least one of his sexual partners confirms that he has experienced erectile dysfunction symptoms. The patient would have to see a sex therapist, and he also would have to wait 24 hours between getting a prescription and getting an ED drug. South Carolina Senator McLeod joins me now. Welcome, Senator.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Well, your Viagra bill definitely gave men a counterpoint to what women have been going through with abortion bills controlling their own bodies. Tell me how you saw the conversation shift after introducing your bill.
Well, I introduced the bill to initiate a different conversation, and one that I felt was long overdue. I was appointed by Speaker Lucas to serve on our committee to investigate Planned Parenthood, which is an state agency in our state. And it was just, I mean, it got to the point where it was ridiculous. And I thought that another side needed to be discussed. And, you know, I came up with the Viagra Bill, as it's called. It's really the erectile dysfunction bill, but it served the purpose, and the response has been overwhelmingly positive.
I'm sure. Even though the bill had little chance of making it through, you did broaden the discussion and I think expose some hypocrisy. Do you think that's really what it's about for, quote, women's issues when you're contextualizing them so they apply to everyone?
I think so. I mean, it's 2017. It was, at that point, it was 2016, and those conversations need to be had. Even though we got the bill out of subcommittee and got it to the House floor, men were not able to engage in a serious and thoughtful discussion about men's sexual and reproductive health. But, you know, they're more than willing to discuss ours every session. And so I think it was important for us to expose the hypocrisy, which we did, and to initiate a different conversation than one that needs to be had about, you know, what women in our state and in other states have to go through.
Yeah, you know, early this morning we saw the U.S. Senate vote to begin dismantling major parts of the Affordable Care Act. The Republicans struck down an amendment to require insurance companies to cover the cost of contraceptions, which leaves 55 million women without copay birth control. What do you make of that?
You know, I'm not at all surprised by that, and it's something that I think all of us expect to happen, and it's really an issue that we shouldn't have to deal with. I can't even begin to describe how frustrating it is to have our male colleagues, you know, dominate and decide and determine what we need to be doing as women with our bodies. I mean, it's just unreal that we are, as I said, 2016 and 2017, still talking about these issues. It's just, I've gotten so much interest from not only people in South Carolina, but people across the country about my Viagra bill, and thank you notes and, you know, cards and emails, and the response has been overwhelming, I think, because it's not just happening here in South Carolina, but certainly, you know, this is an issue for women across the country, and it's time for us to stand up and to initiate a broader discussion and to make sure that we stay the course when it comes to that discussion. I don't plan to reintroduce the bill in the Senate because I introduced it not because I thought it would pass, but because I wanted to start a different conversation. We've been able to do that in South Carolina, and actually I think, you know, my bill has played a huge role in introducing a broader discussion across the country, and for that I'm really encouraged and grateful, but we've got lots of work to do. I mean, this didn't start in 2016. I just got frustrated enough to try and address it then. But we, as women, have to take the lead and demand that we have, you know, autonomy when it comes to our health care decisions.
You know, you raise a good point. You're a state senator, and you're obviously used to working with a majority of men because, unfortunately, men still represent the majority in our political life. What do you think is the most effective way for getting your voice heard as an elected official and, frankly, as a woman in the public domain?
Well, in South Carolina, it's unprecedented that we now have 4 women. I'm one of 4 women in our South Carolina Senate, which it's unbelievable that never before in our state's history have 4 women served in the South Carolina Senate simultaneously. So we've got some you know, a few more hurdles to jump through as it relates to the number of women who serve. But I think as we grow in number, our voices will definitely become stronger. So I'm really encouraged by that.
Senator McLeod, thank you for your leadership in this issue, and good luck with everything in the new year. Thanks for joining us. And stick with the FoxNews.com.
Thank you for having me.
Stick with FoxNews.com for the latest. I'm Julie Roginsky.